everyone. Welcome back to the FIDE Candidates 2026. And yeah, so far 11 rounds have gone by, and it is very important double round robin of 14 rounds. Whoever wins will play the world champion at the world championship. And yeah, so let's get started with round number 12. Round number 12, the men's or open game is between Wei with the white pieces and Anish Giri with the black pieces, who's so far the only person who has the capability of beating Sindarov to first place. E4, E5, a Vienna game by Wei. Knight goes out to F6. This is the Falkbeer variation with Bishop C4, Bishop C5. Oh, it's a kind of Stanley, Anderson defense even. D3, Artistry castles are just playing simple chess. F4 is the main point of the Vienna, where you take back, and go either d6 or c6. The best move is actually knight to c6, according to what the computer recommends. He went c6, and d4 was played. Bishop went to b4. Knight goes this way, knight to e2, and so Wei gave up a pawn. But the point is faster development. Faster development. Anish is up a pawn, but Wei has faster development. Knight takes c4, challenging him. He decides to take the bishop, Anish. And now you just go c3, bishop goes back, and you have a really good position. And the point is, like, you're just gonna go for the king, queen g4, and just get mate, like, somehow. I don't know. Knight a6 by Anish. Wei he plays his queen to e2. The knight goes back to c7. Maybe looking at ideas of knight b5, knight e6, maybe defending the king. Like that. So that's what was his idea. Queen takes e4, so he gets the pawn back. Gets the pawn back. Wei decides to take the pawn back. Knight jumps into d5 by Nishkari. So that was actually maybe the idea. Bishop d2, a5. Knight went to f5. What? Oh, this knight went to f5. Bishop took, and the rook takes back. So after that, g6 was played, hitting the rook. The rook went back to f3. f5. Anish Giri trying to play for a win as he wants to beat Sindarov. Like, yeah, so he's playing for a win. Knight c5. b5. This is not Anish Giri style. I don't know. I've never seen him do something like this before. Like, almost all his pawns are on light squares. I mean, like, queen goes back to f1. Then the bishop took, pawn took back. And he went a4. How literally all his pawns are on light squares. That activates Wei's bishop, but it won't get a target or, like, get an attacking chance very soon. c4 is played. And takes. And then rook to e8 by Nishkari. So they prepared a bit, they traded their pieces, and the bishop went to h6. Now Anish is a bit better, rook d1, g5. It's the idea is to sack the rook, and technically you're up a pawn, but shoot on an exchange. But this is kind of a draw according to computer. f4, because c6 is a mistake because of the move. Queen a7 check. But the follow-up after king h1 is to come here. So that if you can't trade queens because, like, you can see the pawn's gonna promote. And so queen e3 also has background possibilities. So queen e3 is just a winning move. But even like queen c5, hitting the pawn, that's a mistake. He's still better, but he missed the winning chance. c7, rook e8, h3 is a mistake because you can just take the pawn, and then I don't know what's gonna happen. Bishop takes g5. So now Anish is better, but the point is f3. f3 is played. Now g takes, and then queen to c4. So now he's kind of winning. King g1, queen takes a2, just giving up the pawn. King f2, queen e6. I think I played on a bit, but the game went ironic. Anish is better, but then he starts to not able to convert this. He's stuttering. Queen c2, now it's a draw. Queen takes a5, queen check, king up, queen e4. And then there were some stages where, yeah, there was a blunder at one point. The idea was after like a move like king g2, you're meant to go h5. h5 is the winning move, although he played queen c2 check. Usually move king h3, queen d1, queen f4. He is winning, but now Wei has a fortress. So they play around for a bit. And in this position, 1 minute 25 seconds for Wei and 1 minute and 14 seconds for Nishkari. Wei claimed a draw because he repeated the position kind of. The position, not moves. And yeah, that was a kind of outstanding men's game. Yeah. it was a draw and another sacrifice by Wei. Anishkari stuttering and missing a lot of wins. But anyway, let's move on to the women's game. The women's game has been between the leader with the white pieces, Vaishali Ramesh Babu, rated who's a GM and his FIDE ratings 2,470, and is from India. Zhu Jiner with the black pieces. We have a Karo Khan, and this is the advanced variation. Here I recommend c5. I do have a video on. I don't recommend it. I mean, bishop f5 is the main move. I do have a video on the Karo Khan. Please watch it. And yeah, so bishop d3 is played, bishop takes, c takes. The main move is queen takes e3, but c takes is played. e6, knight develops to c3, knight to e7, knight f3, h6, h1. That's a kind of main line, but like the bishop yeah, his bishop's gone. And then yeah, this bishop traded it for. And then we have knight to d7, and then you just develop a bit, knight e2, b6, bishop d2. Eventually, Zucchina gets a better position. Queen takes a mistake because of rook h4. Apparently, I have no idea why, but okay. She took back, and queen a4. Now, Zucchina is better position because of her active pieces castles. Rook b8. She has kind of got a target. Rook c2 defending, a6. Queen jumps to f4, queen b5. Knight to c1 is the only move apparently. Rook to g8 is played. That's a mistake because of like e3 or d4. Okay, not b3, I meant, I don't know. I swear it said g5, f4 stands the only move, rook takes back, and pawn to d4. Now bishop went to e7, they're just developing. Eventually, later on in the game, like around, there was this, rook f1 is a mistake because of rook to b5. And after rook b5, I don't, like, white has nothing, she goes d5. Knight takes, queen e4, queen b7, just defending. Bishop d4 is a mistake. And then she has the attack. I mean, like now after things like h4, so like it's not really a good position. And then queen goes to h5, rook g6, queen h5 checks a mistake because the bishop just needs to block. Or she not take the king. Sorry, bishop needs to block. No, on f8, she blocked with a knight. This is a miss. And then eventually a4, rook b3, rook takes b3, d takes b3, knight c1 is a mistake. It's of h3. Now she's going in. Cannot take. And she did. Because of h takes g2, king h3 because you can't take. So, and then you just make a queen. And then the idea is knight c3. And in this position with 1 minute and 10 seconds, Zujiner having 1 minute 52 seconds. Vaishali resigned as you're hitting the rook. And you're threatening mate. If you defend mate with something like f3 or queen h5 does not defend mate. Oh, I mean h3. Then you just take the rook. And yeah. So let's say you play f3 defending mate. You just take the rook. If you move the rook, you get mated. So that was crazy now. So now the problem is, now Zhu Jiner is leading the tournament Vaishali. They both are on 7 out of 12. And now round number 13 is happening. We'll see who takes the lead eventually. Yavakar is still winning in the men's, doing outstanding. He's on 9 out of 12. Because he also drew in the men's, everyone drew. I saw Divya lost to Tan. And I think Tan's now versing Vaishali and Zoo is versing Alexandra in round 13. So this is a very interesting candidates happening so far. Please keep following it, and yeah, that's it for today's video. Goodbye.